Welcome to video number 7 in my series on the chakras. If you haven't yet watched videos 1 through 6, I highly recommend that you go back and do so. In this video, we'll be talking about the third eye chakra and how to have greater access to your intuition. The third eye chakra exists right here between your eyebrows, and it's the location of our intuition, or higher knowledge, we might think of it. Usually it's difficult to access our intuition because our mind, our mental chatter, is so loud. The primary mental chatter that exists for all of us as humans comes from the ego. Now, it's just that we have an ego. I'm not saying that any of us is egotistical. That's not what this is. It's not a detrimental thing. Every person on this planet has an ego. It's how we interact with the world. It's how we interact in relationships. It's our personality, our outward appearance. But it can often get in the way. The mental chatter of the ego sometimes goes, as you might know, in circles or sometimes also spirals. And it clouds the higher knowledge or intuition that we actually all have access to. It's inbuilt right here in the third eye chakra. And if we can just get access to that higher knowledge, it affords us the ability to make great decisions. Now, I want to talk about great decision making here for a moment, because if it were to be said that yoga has a goal, and it actually does not. Yoga is a practice that we employ in perpetuity to continuously get better at our life. It never really ends. There's never a final destination of yoga where we tick the box and go, oh yeah, that yoga stuff, that was great, but I did that. It's something that supports us every day, all day, in manifesting our highest purpose, our truest potential, and our best selves. So while the practice itself is endless and there isn't really a goal, if you had to pin me down and say, Alana, what is the goal of yoga? What I would say is this, that the goal of yoga is the ability to use what's called in Sanskrit, viveka. Viveka it's a beautiful Sanskrit word, in my opinion. It means discernment, the ability to decide for oneself what is going to most help you as an individual lean toward the light. Being human is complicated. It's a challenging process for all of us. And the best that we can do with any of our actions, behavior, decisions is lean toward the light and away from what is not light. And that is a personal choice for all of us. There's no one way to do this. There's no one decision that is always the right one. And in fact, because life is complicated, we must know that every decision we make has both good and bad consequences. Both good and bad consequences. There's nothing that's going to absolve us from the complication and messiness that is life. But as we make decisions, and we are called to make decisions all day, every day, it's the one thing we as humans do completely all the time, right? We don't eat all the time. We're not awake all the time, but we always make decisions. Even at the sound of the alarm, do we get up with the alarm? Do we push the snooze button? Do we wait a little bit longer? What do we have for breakfast? How do we drive to work? All day making decisions. So if we can employ our higher consciousness, our higher knowledge, and make decisions that allow us to lean a little bit more toward the light, that is viveka. That is the absolute best outcome of a yoga practice. And that is what the sixth chakra is calling us to do. To lean towards the light and to access our higher wisdom. To bypass that constant ego mental chatter and allow something brighter to come through so that every decision we make, we know is the best one for us. If we want to employ a practice for the third eye, it is absolutely meditation. Nothing like meditation in the yogi's toolkit helps us to access our higher wisdom and allow the ego to just take a rest for a minute. Give us a breather. So in our meditation practice, if we'd like to focus on utilizing the third eye, we can use a simple mantra. I am guided by intuition. So as you sit in your meditation practice with eyes closed, focused on the breath, simply think that mantra, I am guided by intuition, And the repetition of the mantra is going to help the ego to relax. And the intention of the mantra, accessing your intuition, is going to give your inner self, your psyche, the confidence to allow those messages to come through. And those messages may come through as a subtle thought, a sensation. The more you do it, the more you'll understand how your intuition speaks to you so that you can always make the best decision for yourself. I hope that you have a good time further accessing your intuition. I hope that you find that the fruits of that labor are worth it in your life. And in our next video, we're going to talk about the crown chakra and how we connect to all that is.